Hey, y'all. I'll talk to you about something that drives me flipping nuts. I guess, or at least irritates me a little bit. I see a lot of videos, and some of them can be from big channels and small channels, channels I've never heard of, channels I've watched a long time, and people I have a lot of respect for, people that I don't know from Adam's house cat. You see clickbait stuff, picturing a gun. It with a caption with a headline is or the title is this relevant? Is this viable in 2024, 2025, whatever year it is? And it kind of crap drives me up the wall, and I tell you why. The question is this viable? Is this good enough? Is this relevant in 2025? Why? Because our times are so enlightened. We're so much more advanced than we were. Technology is so much more than it was. Knowledge has so greatly increased in tactics, and it's all a load of horse. What made a bullet effective against living tissue, against a threat, two-legged or four-legged? What worked 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 50, 100, even 150 years ago or more? What worked then works today for the most part. And unless you're talking about a problem that's wearing some level of body armor, not as familiar with the levels, then most any handgun that worked, and I'm talking about specifically about handguns right now, this could apply to long guns too. Most any handgun that worked 25, 50 years ago works today. And then if you're talking about a threat that's wearing body armor, then you have more problems than can be solved with, your Super 9mm that everybody thinks is the greatest tactical implement ever devised. And, the only difference between this or any, be it a 1911, be it any revolver, be it any cartridge that's not in chic with the I'm just starting to shave crowd now, who can, put on a bunch of tactical crap and run around because, they ain't old enough to hurt yet. Anything that's older than what they love, anything that's just a little bit more antiquated than what they love, they don't respect. And you're going to hear that crap from all these little wet behind the ears kids. And, some older people who are trying to identify with those kids and, trying to play to that crowd. You're going to hear that crap forever and ever. It doesn't matter. You're going to tell me that your 9mm or caliber X, whatever it is far superior. And now we know, because we're enlightened, that this, whether it were an end frame in 357 Magnum, whether it were an end frame in 44 Magnum, or like this one in 41 Magnum, you're going to tell me that this is completely inadequate. And we're having to question whether or not this is relevant. Relevant to what? Can you stop a problem with it? Yeah. If you can do your part, if you can do the job. And there's the question I think that more people should be asking. Don't ask if this gun is relevant in 2025, if this platform, if this style, if this whatever, or this cartridge. Don't ask if it's relevant or viable in 2025. Ask, are people today capable of handling what people 20 years ago, 50 years ago can handle? Can kids today handle real power? Can they handle the responsibility of having to count for each shot? Or are we just in a spray and pray mindset today because we're so infected with everything from the movies Lethal Weapon to John Wick? Is that where our minds are now, is that we think that everything that matters is going to be, every problem we're ever going to face is going to be solved excuse me, by magazine capacity alone? No, that's just, if you're not doing your part, if you're not counting your shots, yeah, I mean, you might be increasing the odds of hitting the threat that you're, if you're going to spray and pray all of that, you might increase your odds of hitting a threat, but you might also increase your odds of hitting someone that shouldn't be hit. Let's take responsibility for each damn round. And if we're doing that and we're thinking, let's solve the problem with as few rounds as possible, with as much care and responsibility as possible, then you also have to ask yourself, if I've accepted the responsibility and if I've accepted that I need to make each shot count as much as I can, then why would you choose a weaker cartridge? And unless you're somewhere you really shouldn't be, and I don't go to big mobs and crowds and protests, I'm just not. I see nothing but the potential for problems. And in a situation like that, yeah, if I was running for my life, if I was pulling a Rittenhouse and somewhere that probably wasn't smart to be, I'm not saying he was wrong, just probably not smart to be, and I find myself being pursued or attacked by multiple threats, multiple targets, I probably made a poor damn decision for being there. Now, yes, I guess we could end up having, multiple home invaders at one time. At one time, it does happen. 9 times out of 10, 99 out of 100, somebody comes in that living room door right there, they're going to meet 5 shots of 44 special. And if that's not enough, they better get me before I get to the other rooms, because I have guns staged in multiple other rooms, and I guarantee you, the 9mm with 15, 17 round magazines, there's one in there, but it's going to be the last damn thing I go to. I don't have much faith in some of that stuff, and I sure don't have faith in all these, in this new way of thinking. This, it's hotter today than it's ever been. The weather's worse than it's ever been. There's more sharks in the water than there's ever been. All of that is, and the threats are worse than they've ever been. And now we know more than we've ever known. And now we understand more than we've ever understood about self-defense. All of that is hubris. That's, that's being egotistical. And I can't get with that. What works today, what worked 50 years ago, pretty much the same thing. The only thing that's changed is the mind of the people, what they think they need. And a lot of them are thinking wrong. I have no problem with you having any of y'all having 15, 17 rounds. Hell, have 100 rounds. I don't care. It don't make no difference to me. But you better be worried about where 6 are going, 5 are going. Better be worried about where the first and then second one's going, if the second one's even necessary. I don't know. We're just a different mindset, some of those folks and I. And hey, there ain't nothing wrong with, I enjoy sitting and, firing, like I said, 15, 17 times without having to reload. I've done it before. God, that's all I used to do, that and more. I get it, but I don't know. I guess my sensibilities changed and my thoughts on, personal responsibility. And I realized, a long time ago that I'm not Rambo, and today I'm not John Wick, and I'm not worried about that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Is it relevant? Is this relevant in 2025? Hell yeah, it is. And quote Clint Smith as closely as I can. He said in something, I've seen it in a couple of things. He said several times, beware the man that has a 41 Magnum and knows how to use it. And he's not just talking about a 41 Magnum. He was, but not just that. But any revolver platform, anything that you knew tactical, little wet behind the ears kids. And you don't have to be wet behind the ears. You can have a ton of experience and still be stupid. Of course, we know that some of these video games are played in it, but he said, be aware of the man that had a 41 Magnum knows how to use it. He'll burn your ass. Well, if you ain't worried about where the first shot's going, that might be just exactly what happens. And if you counting shots and you making them count, and a deadly man is as deadly with a revolver as he is with any high-capacity firearm against a normal, self-defense threat. I'm not talking about offensive military operations or paramilitary operations, because I don't have none of that crap on my mind. Well, y'all, here's my little rant. Talk to y'all later. And thanks for watching.